Starfleet is pulling out the big guns.
Double!
Is the Dominion ready for Quark?
Hey, it's Janelle Waz, and welcome back to another episode of Treknalysis. This episode almost needs no introduction. It's one of the best episodes in DS9. It's a Ferengi episode. It's a Moogie episode. And it perfectly nails comedy and action. It's the Magnificent Ferengi.
We're Ferengi.
That's why I love you.
Now, if you look at what the Ferengi were in TNG, they were mostly a joke. They were set up to be the franchise's newest villains, cunning, scheming, always looking to make a buck no matter the ethics behind it. But with the goofy design and fairly unthreatening presence, that didn't last very long.
Paws off, Ferengi.
Dude, what the hell is that? In fact, they were so bad that when Armin Shimmerman was cast as Quark in DS9, he was determined to undo the damage he caused during that first appearance. And fairly early in DS9's run, we went from, ugh, a Ferengi episode, to, oh, a Ferengi episode. The Magnificent Ferengi is a Season 6 episode, and by that point, the Ferengi episode formula was perfected. And we're just gonna ignore that for right now.
Oh!
Smack dabbed in the middle of the Dominion War arc, the Magnificent Ferengi is a fun standalone episode that's not only a great comedy episode, but also a great action episode that sees Quark and his ragtag team of Ferengis on a rescue mission with actual stakes. Now, the episode's title is a nod to the movie The Magnificent Seven, which, full disclosure, I haven't actually seen, but apparently it has little to do with the episode. But Armin Shimmerman and Max Grodenchik prepared for the episode by watching it, which would explain these little gestures that have a very Western feel to them. I mean, Trek was originally pitched as Wagon Train to the Stars, so it feels appropriate. Let's join our Magnificent Ferengi commandos on a mission they'll never forget in the Magnificent Ferengi.
You've had this coming for a long time, cousin!
But before I go further, thanks for checking out my video. Make sure you like and subscribe for more of my Star Trek, video game, and other miscellaneous content. Keep those hailing frequencies open on the other social media sites, and a big thank you to my channel members for supporting the channel. If you'd like to buy me a cup of tea and support my work, consider joining up on my channel. Be great to have you aboard. Quark enters his bar bearing casks of the spoils of war. Syrup. No, he hasn't conquered Canada, but he's returned home from a rather shrewd business deal. He discovered that a long drought on the planet Balankar was a fake.
It's a fake!
All because the accountant of a nephew of the cousin of the stepsister of a friend of the secretary of the Agriculture Consortium bought rain boots, which he wouldn't technically need if there was really a drought.
I once did business with the nephew of the cousin of the stepsister of a friend of the secretary to the consortium's chief accountant.
And she has a friend who has a cousin who's married to the assistant of one of the members of the Federation Medical Council.
It was all a plot to drive up the price of syrup of squill, and Quark threatened to tell everybody about it unless he was shut up with some cases of syrup. And I see he kept his end of the bargain. You know, when you really think about it, the fact that Quark figured all of this out because a guy bought a pair of shoes, it really is clever. The bar patrons are amazed and looking forward to their syrup, but Quark is about to learn a very hard lesson.
Showmanship, George. When you hit that high note, you say goodnight and walk off.
All right. That's it for me. Be good, everybody.
Because Dax, Julian, and Miles just walked in after being the first to survive a recon mission behind enemy lines, where their lives are actually in danger. Because they're in the middle of a war. So Quark's upset because actual heroes stole his thunder.
Let's face it, Quark, there's nothing heroic about earning profit.
There is on Ferenginar.
We're not on Ferenginar.
Yeah, that really wasn't gonna impress people who don't use currency.
Money doesn't exist in the 24th century. The acquisition of wealth is no longer the driving force in our lives.
I'm human. I don't have any money.
Although I'm not sure how all the Starfleet officers hang out at Quark's without legal tender. Or how Jadzia is able to gamble. Oh, but Grand Nagus Zek is calling! He'll definitely appreciate Quark's victory in procuring Squill. Except Zek is calling for another reason entirely. A reason that would affect Quark and his brother Rom.
My mother's been taken prisoner by the Dominion. The Nagus wants me to rescue her.
Uh-oh.
Ishka, Quark and Rom's mother, affectionately known as Moogie, which is what I'm gonna call her here, has been captured by the Dominion because she was on a transport returning from Vulcan to get her ears lifted. Because plastic surgery is still alive and well in the 24th century. So Zek wants Quark to rescue her for 50 bars of latinum, which is a good chunk of change, and Quark pulls Rom into this for 20 bars.
That's not even.
It is when you include my finder's fee.
But why Moogie? Why is the Nagus so generous with her? After all, Ferengi females aren't even allowed to leave the planet. Well, Quark updates Rom with the events of the last season episode Ferengi Love Songs. Namely, that Zek and Moogie have been lovers for the past year, and she's been helping him run the entire Ferengi alliance while Zek's mind is failing.
I may have lost my memory, but not my sense of humor!
Now, for some reason, Quark and Rom have been aimlessly crawling through the conduits this whole time, and we find one hell of a security risk on the station.
May I help you, gentlemen?
Must have taken a wrong turn.
But they need to assemble a team to rescue Moogie. Nausicaans, Breen, Klingons, the works!
We'll just use Ferengi. Ferengi can be just as tough as Klingons. But Quark insists on a commando team made up entirely of Ferengi. They just need a little training and a little latinum. They'll even split the reward with everyone. All 20 bars of it. We'll split the reward with whoever joins us. All 20 bars of it.
Now, I love the scenes where Quark and Rom recruit their party members. Each one is given a moment to shine, and you get a good sense of their personalities in just one scene. No drawn-out backstories, no exposition drops, just pure character moments. I also love the gestures Quark and Rom make whenever they gain a new recruit. First up is Rom's son and Quark's nephew, Nog, the Starfleet officer, who was also indirectly responsible for starting the Dominion War. He was Jake's partner for that science project. Though, to be fair, Keiko was the one who assigned the project. Nog doesn't want to join up because he's an officer and he has duties. He can't just go off on some half-baked scheme.
But you know how to fire a phaser.
But what does Quark do to convince him to join up? Offer him power. Yes, Nog, you'll be just like Commander Worf, a strategic operations officer. You'll be in charge of tactics, come up with a plan. You'll even be the drill instructor. What do you say? Next up, we have a far less conventional Ferengi, even less conventional than Nog the Starfleet officer. We have a Ferengi who cares even less about money than Nog, one with far different priorities, one who's particularly concerned about this conversation being on a secure channel.
Who do you want eliminated? It's not that kind of job. Then why call an eliminator?
Not gonna lie, Lek is probably my favorite character in this entire episode. He's played entirely straight, but his lines are so off the wall, it's hilarious. Each one of his lines and his delivery is pure gold. Pressed Latinum.
Perhaps you can help me clarify something. What's the most vulnerable part of a Jem'Hadar's body?
But how do we get this borderline psychopath to join up? Well, Quark entices him with an opportunity to hone his skills. He gets to take on the Dominion.
The Dominion should be quite a challenge.
And languishing in a holding cell on a starbase that isn't DS9 is Quark's cousin Gala. You know, the one who owns his own moon.
My cousin Gala.
I know. He owns a moon.
Or at least he used to until business as usual when Quark sabotaged his arms dealership. Ever since then, he's lost his reputation and was arrested for vagrancy.
I'll make you pay for what you did to me.
I will make them pay for what they've done.
But Quark bailed him out of prison, and Gala is willing to return the favor by earning some latinum. Quark now has 5 total members on his team, each convinced to join because Quark identified and delivered something they wanted, like a true businessman. But unfortunately, they don't have a ship to get to the internment center to bust Moogie out of prison.
Liquidator Brunt! That's X, Liquidator Brunt.
Again, we have a callback to a previous episode. Once again, Ferengi love songs, where Brunt, FCA, schemed to break Zek and Moogie up so he could become Grand Nagus, but was exposed by Quark and lost his job. So now he wants to sign up to get his old job back. The thing is, none of the other party members want him. Liquidators aren't exactly popular on Ferenginar.
I'll just get in my ship and leave.
Did you say ship?
And with the team assembled, it's time to rescue Moogie. Wow, he just Italianed her.
I saw we weren't gonna rescue her, so I put her out of her misery.
It turns out this was just a training exercise, but it doesn't really matter because they all stink. Except for Luck, he actually has the highest body count. So Quark calls the whole thing off. There's no way the 6 of them would be able to rescue Moogie.
I guess we're not cut out to be heroes after all.
So when are you guys hiring the Klingons, Breen, and Nausicaans?
We don't need Nausicaans, Breen, or Klingon.
Well, clearly you do! But after Quark regales Rom with his sweet syrup victory, it finally occurs to Rom that they've been going about this the wrong way, and he comes up with a very Ferengi solution.
We're not commandos. We're negotiators.
Exactly! Before, they weren't playing to their strengths, which is in negotiation, a far more peaceful option. So the new plan is to trade for Moogie's freedom while the Dominion gets this guy.
If I'd had just 2 more vials of white, you never would have had a chance.
Once again, another callback, this time to the 2nd episode of this season, Rocks and Shoals. Kevon was a Vorta trapped on a planet with the Defiance crew, and he ordered his entire troop of Jem'Hadar to their death in a battle with Sisko because he didn't have enough Ketracel white to give them before they go crazy. Sisko captured him after the battle with the most badass pose possible, and he's been held at Starfleet ever since until Kira convinced Sisko to talk to Starfleet to let Quark have him.
Consider it payback, Quark, for rescuing me from the Dominion.
And yet another callback! That's gotta be the 5th one! I promise this episode is very standalone despite all the callbacks. Heck, this is actually the episode that got my mom into DS9, so you don't need the full context of everything to enjoy it. I mean, I'm providing the context in my video anyways, but you don't necessarily need it. But you should watch those episodes because they are pretty good. The exchange is going to take place on Empok Nor, which is basically just tipsy DS9. Also, it's a place where Garrick went a little crazy.
You tied me up and threatened to kill me.
There were extenuating circumstances.
Now, the in-universe reason why they're going there is because it's the same design as DS9, so they already know the layout. But in reality, it was probably cheaper to rearrange the current DS9 set and just say it was a different station. And upon bringing their unwilling passenger aboard, largely because he's going to be executed after a very unpleasant debriefing, they arrive at Empok Nor and set up base camp in the infirmary. And Quark has to bribe his team to actually go there.
You don't pay your soldiers to do the duty.
You do if they're Ferengi.
And so far, everything seems to be going according to plan. Oh no, they're all dead!
Then we'll all die!
No, Gala just fell asleep while guarding Kevon, and Kevon's trying to escape with the ship, so they have to go stop him. The physical comedy throughout the entire episode, and especially during the chase scene, is top-notch. The gags, the slapstick, things like knocking over cans during the chase or stumbling over them on the way back. On any other set of characters, this would look dumb, but with the Ferengi, it's comic genius. You get the strong sense that these are a bunch of amateurs who are out of their element. Well, with the exception of Nog and Lek. But it's not so overdone that it starts to become silly or sacrifices believability in the Star Trek universe.
Kevon is caught by Quark, but he couldn't escape anyways because Rom disengaged the induction matrix. So this whole chase scene was borderline pointless? Oh hell no, because physical comedy.
What's that? It's the alarm whistle. It means a Dominion ship is approaching. To the infirmary!
The Dominion have arrived and are taking aim, and our terrified heroes are taking cover in the infirmary. So Quark, Rom, and Nog drew the short straws. Also Moogie's family. So they go out to meet her and her Vorta captor, Iggy Pop, in a rare shirted appearance. Also, Moogie's surgery went quite well.
My lobes haven't been this firm in over a century.
Please, I don't need to hear about your lobes.
They're real and they're spectacular.
The negotiations begin surrounded by armed Jem'Hadar, and Quark displays his cunning. He wants to make sure the Jem'Hadar aren't going to kill them all, and when Yulgrin, points out that they could just storm the infirmary at any moment, Quark threatens that Kevon would be the first to die before they could find out what secrets he gave to the Federation.
He's got you there, Yulgrin.
Now, DS9 executive producer and Iggy Pop fan Ira Stephen Bear was concerned that Yulgrin wasn't going to be a good fit for Iggy's onstage persona. But Iggy's fantastic in this episode, playing Yulgrin as bored and disinterested, but with a certain deadliness to him. At the same time, you can tell he appreciates Quark's skills as a negotiator, despite it drawing out the negotiations. It's also worth noting that Iggy was recovering from a dislocated shoulder during filming, which is why he's holding his arm during his scenes. An agreement is finally reached, but there's just one more thing that needs to be settled. What if that's not really Moogie, but a changeling? And there's only one way to prove that that's no changeling. Time for a blood test! Because they've been so accurate in the past. Again, make everybody pick a booger and put it on the table. I demand the booger test. It's going to be far more accurate than a blood test. Because a changeling isn't going to want to carry a bunch of boogers around. Are you kidding? That's disgusting.
Now let's see if you're a changeling.
It's joke after joke after joke in this episode, and it all feels natural. The mission is nearly complete, and the Magnificent Ferengi are celebrating. Except that there's still 20 minutes left in the episode.
50 bars of gold-pressed latinum. 50 bars? You said the reward was 20.
I hate Ferengi.
Well, Kevon's kicked the bucket, so they're all screwed now because he was the only thing keeping them all alive. But enough talk about surrender, escape, and defeat, because here comes Quark with an inspirational speech that would put even Captain Picard to shame. They're just as tough as anyone else in the galaxy. Let's prove it to them! But for equal shares of 50 bars of gold-pressed latinum, right?
It always comes down to profit with you people, doesn't it?
But what's this? Kevon's still moving? Well, not really. The medical equipment still works, and Nog managed to reanimate him and get him to walk with a controller for a weekend at Kevon's. And now for the moment of truth.
What have they done to him?
The jig is up, and here comes Lek like he's in the Bunker 2 level of GoldenEye. Moogie is finally safe, Yulgrin is in custody, and Rom and Quark end the episode discussing what it feels like to be a hero.
How does it feel to be a hero?
You tell me.
And some say Kevon is still on Empok Nor to this very day, running into a wall. And that was the Magnificent Ferengi, and that's how you do a Ferengi episode. The episode blends comedy, slapstick, and action beautifully. The characters have great chemistry with each other, and it strikes a balance between the serious and the humorous. It also fully respects the Ferengi for who they are, not forcing them into a role suited for somebody like the Klingons. They have their own Ferengi way of completing missions through negotiation. Though they still back up their words, they're not dumb. In fact, I would argue that the negotiation tactics ended up being much more effective than storming the castle. I mean, they all got out alive, except for Kevon. What more can I say about this episode? It's truly magnificent and worth its weight in latinum. If you haven't seen this episode before, go watch it right now. Also, we needed to see more Lek in DS9.
If you ever do something like this again, count me in.
So, what did you think of the Magnificent Ferengi? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What was the episode's strongest feature? The action or the comedy? Which was your favorite Ferengi in the episode? And what are some of your favorite Ferengi episodes in Star Trek? Please, leave comments below and discuss. As always, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Treknalysis. If you like what you see, why not give my video a like and subscribe to my channel? Tell your friends! Until next time...
Must have taken a wrong turn.
It looks that way.